Hi, I'm Blake Reed Evans. I am a Sam Via ambassador, Redken artist, salon owner, but first and foremost, I'm a stylist behind the chair. Have you seen the mega viral Netflix show called Wednesday? I am absolutely obsessed. I've been obsessed with the Addams family since I was a little kid, and I'm just really impressed with Jenny Ortega's take on the character. But we have to talk about that Fringe, and we have to talk about that style. And I know that clients are inspired by pop culture just as much as I am, which is why I'm excited today to walk you through a really efficient way on how to cut a fringe that is very loose, has some separation, and then also creating those lovely bits on the side that if you put your hair up in a ponytail, they fall out, or in the case of Wednesday, you put them down into both of those braided pigtails. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and take a multi-benefit spray and concentrate on the roots of the hair. The reason why we wanna do that is because we wanna come through and break up any natural part that the client might have arrived with, because if they don't have any existing fringe, it might be hard to find where it's going to live. And just by lightly misting it with a multi-benefit spray, it's gonna help break up any set parts that are in the hair so that we can go ahead and get cutting, because I really recommend cutting fringe on dry hair. So what we need to do first is we're going to take our comb and we are going to place the spine of the comb onto my guest's forehead. We're gonna take the comb, wherever it lifts off, that is exactly where the change of direction of the head is, so that you know that that is your first point. We are gonna take that same spine of the comb and we are going to place it on the corner of the eye. So all you need to do is just feel for that orbital bone on the eye, and you're gonna rock that back. Now that I have those 2 points, I can now draw from the high point to the corner of the eye. Gonna come through with my Sam Via clip. I love these clips, these dry sectioning clips, because it holds all the hair back so that you can get ultimate control while you're cutting the hair. Clip everything back so that you have your fringe area. Then what you'll need to do is just take a second and double check for balance. An important tip whenever you're cutting someone's fringe is to make sure that they are sitting up straight. Now, the Sam Via combs are really great because they have 2 different sides to them. They have the fine tooth side and the wide tooth side. Both sides have purposes, which is why I love that the comb has 2 different sides to them. The wide tooth side has a hook at the top. That hook is going to be great for sectioning, for doing precise sectioning like we just did. It's also wider, so the teeth are further apart, so when you comb the hair, the tension isn't quite as high. That is one of my favorite parts about it. The second part of this is the fine tooth side. The fine tooth side has a lot more tension whenever you comb the hair. One of the biggest things that I've learned whenever it comes to cutting fringe is to start with the wide side of the comb, because you can always go back in and add more precision later. Unless you're going through and you're doing a super precise haircut, then you would use your wide side. So what we're gonna go through and do first is we're going to establish our fringe guideline. So we're gonna take this hair and just simply place it backwards. And for my shear of choice, if you've hung out with me before, you know how much I love these shears. These are the Sam Via 7-inch dry cutting shears. I absolutely love them because they are long. So whenever you go through and you're cutting hair, it can cover a lot of surface area at once. And the particular model that I have has the swivel on it, and I love that because as I am moving through the hair, the swivel is moving the swivel is moving with me. So 7-inch dry cutting shear is my preference. I love swivel. It takes like maybe 2 weeks of doing hair to get used to, and then you'll love it as well. So we're gonna come through and establish where we want that fringe to live. So I'm gonna come in, and while it's a natural fall, I'm going without any tension. I'm gonna come in and establish where I want that fringe to be cut. Then what we're going to do is take this within 2 sides. So we're gonna first start with our one side. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the wide side of the comb and come from underneath. Then what we'll do is we'll just lightly push with our shear where we want that fringe to go. That I can see that guideline from over there. The reason why I like doing this is because I can look in the mirror to see if this is nice and straight. Then at a 45-degree angle, I'm gonna come in and point cut across the fringe, cutting a straight line. What I like about this is that the tension stays consistent while you are doing that. As you let go, you can see that it's cut a nice straight line, but it is soft as you go across. If you have a guest and they're a little nervous about you doing that, all you need to do is just come through and just lift up ever so slightly so that you can stay away from their eyes. Then all you need to do is repeat on the other side. So the reason why I like being able to use my combs in these situations to cut the hair is that if you use your fingers lose consistency of tension. When you're using your fingers, we often can lose our tension because from point A to point B, the tension stays consistent. However, from point B to point C, there ends up being a gap within the hair where the tension doesn't stay the same. So then you can end up with uneven haircuts. That's why using a comb like this is really crucial whenever you're trying to cut nice, even lines. So now that we've gotten this nice and balanced, we're gonna go ahead and drop down that top section. The reason why we cut in two horizontal sections is to add precision to what we're doing. So now we're gonna come in and we're just going to re-moisten the hair with a multi-benefit spray. So it is halfway between like a wet cut and a dry cut. But we just do that to help break any sets that might be happening from our sectioning. Then we're gonna come through and create a split down the middle, and we are going to add a little bit of fringiness to this fringe area. So we're gonna come in and we're gonna take a vertical section, and in that vertical section, what we are going to do is we're gonna come in and drop that hair out and cut. Take a section vertically. You are going to slide just past that section and you're going to cut. But what that ends up creating are little peaks and valleys through the fringe area so that it can end up looking very natural and lived in texture without you having to go through with your texture shear. So we're just going to repeat on the other side. So what we're going to do is we're going to come through and we're going to style this, and we're going to be using our comb with a little bit of a root mousse. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of that root mousse and we're going to spray it onto the comb. We're going to first just lay it lightly on the root area and comb it through. Then we're going to get this fringe set up for success by taking our Sanvia dryer and our comb, and we're going to work in a crisscross motion. All right, so now that we've gotten that set into place, one of my favorite things about Wednesday's fringe is that there is just a little bit of a sense of separation between one side and the other. I'm gonna go through with my Sanvia point cutting shears, and what I love about these shears is that the hair glides beautifully through it, so it does not cut any hard lines because it's right there on the angle where it's very soft, and the rounded edges on the inside of the blades are really amazing because the hair glides through them beautifully so it doesn't snag. So what I'm gonna end up doing is coming through and taking one section on that side of the fringe, and we're going to point cut. By over directing it into the opposite direction, what we're doing is we are going to encourage a curtain feel to the fringe without them being a true curtain bang, because all this hair is going to do is just naturally want to push the hair in the opposite direction that you're holding it. So just going through and point cutting with the shears so that it'll push the hair in the other direction. Then what we're going to go through and do is come in and just take a little bit of weight off so that we can get that going. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take a section on each side of the face. Now, this is going to be those fun little pieces that pop out on the side of a ponytail if you put your hair up in a ponytail. In Wednesday's case, of course, she has those cool little pieces that just hang out on the sides of the hair. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your client on the side, and you are going to take a section that is a ½ inch further back than their recession. And we are going to do a steep diagonal line. So now all you're going to do is take a vertical section, and you're going to use your point cutting shears, and you're just going to notch, and that's where you're going to get those really cool pieces that are going to hang out. You're going to take this next vertical section using the previous dropout sections as your guide, and you're going to elevate it forward and continue to notch. I love these shears particularly because they give a very natural effect to the hair, but it doesn't take all the hair off at once. That can be really scary whenever you're trying to create a face frame for somebody. Then just to tie it all together with lower elevation, meaning that this isn't going to create a lot more layers and it's not going to take a lot of length off. When you look at it from the front, you get these really cool pieces that hang out that create some face framing for you. So now we're going to go ahead and repeat on the other side. And when I really want the layers to show up, I have high tension. The higher tension I have, the more it's going to cut off. So now I'm going to take my fine side of my comb, and I'm going to switch it to the wide side, because what that's going to do is loosen up tension. Now I'm going to come through and I'm just going to lighten up a little bit, and my tension has loosened up so that it's not creating as harsh of a line. And then for this final cut, going to swing this forward and just ever so slightly, with the softest tension ever, connecting the dots. So then now you get these really beautiful pieces that connect so that the whole fringe tells a story together. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and start styling the bangs of the hair. I just went ahead and misted the hair down again with a multi-benefit spray. The reason why, if you notice, I am cutting and restyling the fringe is because it's a technique to make sure that this is going to look perfect no matter how your guest wears their hair. Whether they wear it air dried, or they blow it out, or they do both. This technique of just cutting, styling, cutting, and styling will lead to a really beautiful end result. So we're gonna come in and use our round brush, and we are going to make sure that that split shows up by simply taking the section of the brush and rolling it down, but making sure that you split it vertically so that the split starts to show up. And there you have it, our Wednesday Addams inspiration. I think the only thing I need to do now is white out her makeup a little bit, color her hair about 3 shades darker, and she's gonna be ready to go. My name is Blake Reed Evans, a Sam Via ambassador, and I hope that you enjoyed this, and let us know in the comments. First thing you need to do is click subscribe to the Samvia YouTube channel. The second thing that you need to do is leave a comment. Let us know what you think. And the third thing is let's connect. My Instagram and TikTok is at Blake Reed Evans, or you can connect with Samvia at Samvia Hair on both Instagram and TikTok. And we'll see you there.